listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show, episode number 171. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. There's weird stuff going on behind me, like stuff gone missing. I don't know where it's gone.
I'd call the cops.
What?
I'd call the cops.
Maybe I should. So, at least they didn't get the Matrix. But so for those of you who are watching the video episode, the video version of the show, moving has commenced. I've been talking about moving, and things are moving right along. So, but enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into our opening question, which we literally came up with about an hour and a half ago. So, what did you consume the most of in 2023? Ray?
Oh, of course you're starting with me. I tried my best at trying to figure this out. And I'm not going to count like Netflix in the background, because if it was background stuff, Netflix would win.
Fair enough.
So where I'm actually consuming and actually paying attention, I'm going to say YouTube. I use it for learning different skills. I use it for research. I use it for finding out different techniques at different things. Like it's art stuff, like you name it, I'm using YouTube. And yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that I consume the most.
Good deal. Kris?
Books.
Okay.
I read 54 books last year.
Nice.
My goal was 52. Yeah, so both audio and reading, like visual readings. Yeah, books by far, and not a bad mix of genres, which is pretty good for me.
Awesome. Very cool. Sean?
I really didn't think about this. Pornhub.
Dude.
No, that was a lot of increments. No, probably audiobooks.
Okay.
Audible. I did a lot of driving this year, and I always listen to audiobooks, and I found, like, especially the summer and all that, instead of watching TV, I would just throw on an audiobook and just sit back and relax kind of thing. So yeah, Audible loves me. So
yeah. But when we came up with the question, I thought about it, and I did some real quick estimates or whatever. My number, and I at least named for sure my top three. YouTube actually came in at number 3. Just doing a quick look, it looks like I average out about an hour a day. Whenever I it's more than that usually, depending on what's going on at work, stuff like that. Sometimes I'll have it in the background, and see, that's the problem with it, is it also counts that as, like, if I put it on in the background for music or something, so it's also counting it that way. So let's just say an hour a day. So you're looking at 365 hours. Audiobooks, I average about 35 hours a month. So when you calculate that and everything else, it's about 500 hours a year. But when you look at my podcast, just the shows that consistently come out every single week, not including those ones that are once every 2 weeks or once a month or anything like that, I probably listen to about 1,000 hours of podcast every year. Now, granted, all 3 of these are at double speed, so it's not quite as impressive, or I don't know, sad maybe, depending on how you're gonna look at it, but yeah, so I definitely listen to more podcasts than probably anything else. But I'm like you, Sean, in that I've gotten to the point that if I need background noise, if I'm actively listening, it's podcast. If I'm actively listening to a new book, then of course I have that on. But if I just need something in the background, I most often will download an old audiobook and re-listen to it. And just, it's nice to be able to work, and then you kind of like, okay, what's going on? Oh, I remember that part. That was a good part. And then you can kind of go back, and it's just, what did you call it, Kris? Whale song?
Yeah.
That's kind of my whale song, is just having a podcast or, an audiobook or something like that running in the background. So every so often I will put on music like from YouTube or something like that and listen to it. But I don't know. I guess I've just kind of gotten to where I really like spoken word for the most part. So But anyway, so tonight's episode, we're going to look at what we consider the best things from 2023, and we're going to look forward and talk about what the most anticipated things for 2024 are for us. We divided it up into kind of 4 categories. We have books, TV, movies, and I just put other. So if there was something else that you've watched or listened to or whatever, or played, video games as well. Just throw it in there under the other, and if you've got multiple, that's fine too. So, I guess let's go ahead and get started. Would anyone like to go first? And which category would you like to start with?
Sure.
You go.
Okay, you go.
I'll go.
There you go.
I'll
Right.
go.
What category would you like to start with?
I'll do movies.
Okay, so what was your number 1 movie for 2023?
So I went with movies that I didn't actually see that many in the theater. I think I only saw 3.
To be fair, there wasn't a lot
There
in
wasn't
the theater due to the strike.
Well,
I noticed that too. Looking back at the movies this year, I did not go to the theater anywhere near as much as I used to.
no. And there was some that I just didn't want to go see. I didn't want to pay the money because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So, and then I didn't include the movies that I watched on Netflix because I don't remember any. The problem was I didn't remember. Nothing stuck out. And then I was like, oh yeah, that came Guardians 3.
Oh, okay.
I loved it. It was
Yeah.
a wonderful tie up to that, and I
Cried.
cried, which is always a good sign, because that means I have suspended disbelief. And yeah, I just thought I just really liked it. I really liked the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a good choice to pick that storyline. Whoever did that at Marvel. So yeah.
Yep. It almost made my list. Like when I was going through looking at some of the bigger movies from 2023. I did greatly enjoy it. It always hits on the whole chosen family thing. Like that has been a theme all the way through all 3 of these movies.
Yeah.
But then if you're an animal person like I am, boy, there was some rough spots in that movie.
Yeah.
But overall, it was definitely James Gunn, dropping the mic and walking out. Like he
Exactly.
nailed that entire series.
Yeah.
So.
So that's the one that I remembered.
High praise.
Or
Should be on the poster. It was the one I remembered.
Yeah, she actually remembered this.
Actually, remember this one. Ray, would you like to go next?
Sure. Am I sticking with a movie or?
Yeah, go ahead and we'll go ahead and finish out movies, and then we'll move on.
Yeah. So for 2023, my favorite movie of the year, Spider-Man Across the Universe. I love that movie. It was such a good continuation of the story. I'm looking forward to where it goes next. It ties into everything. The first one really surprised me in the actual the presentation of it, like the artistic style and all that stuff. But this one, I was thankful that they were able to continue the story, and though a lot of the characters that I loved in the first one weren't in this one a lot, I'm excited to see where they're going to go with the next one. So
right, and at least they all showed up at the end.
Yeah, and what any good movie second movie will do is, okay, I want to see where this goes next, and that's what this one did for me.
Yep. It was I told everyone try to keep it down to 1 if you can. If you absolutely have to split it, maybe 2. And this is one that I had 2 down, and this was one of them. I know I cheated. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. That first movie had no reason to be as good as it was. It was so funny. The art is so good in it, and I did greatly enjoy this one. This is one that I definitely took my boys to watch, and we had a blast watching the movie. So we always talk about spoilers on the show. So in fact, I even tried to talk Alex, or I even tried to talk Nick into maybe if I didn't do the or maybe it was Alex, trying to figure out what we were going to do for a costume for him this year. I almost convinced one of the boys, if you bought one of those blow up dinosaur costumes and see if maybe your granny could make a Spider-Man costume for it, you'd win Halloween. That was literally in the movie for 5 seconds, and I still remember that. I was just like, T-Rex, Spider-Man, yes.
Spider-Rex is awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I adored that movie. So, Sean, what was your favorite movie from 2023?
Like I couldn't go with Guardians because the animal stuff, even though they're CGI, like I can't watch it now. Like
It's
just the
hard.
thought of raccoon with the top of his head cut off, just ugh.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Verse was like I hated how it ended because it didn't freaking end. So it just pissed me off. So actually I went with Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Yes, I was gonna pick that too.
The boys and I went not to see that. Man, we laughed so hard and enjoyed so much of it, and like seeing like the old cartoon characters,
Yes.
in there too. Like, man, yeah. So that was a winner for me this year.
The opening got me on that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The opening's like that's something that totally any D&D party would try. And
I love the obese dragon.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of stuff in there that was like clearly someone has played a campaign, and this is what the dungeon master threw in there as a joke or something. So
yeah.
But funny enough, I said I kind of cheated and split between two movies. That was the other one. Like this was another movie I went to the theater with my boys. We've never played Dungeons and Dragons before, and I don't know how much they really caught of it, but even then they really enjoyed it. Like they loved the characters, they did love the jokes. It was so well done, but apparently it didn't do great at the, in the theaters. So I don't know if we're going to get a sequel. God, I wish we would though, because man, they could do some fun stuff with that.
Oh yeah.
So those were Ray and Sean had my picks right there. I could not pick between Spider-Man and D&D, and in all honesty, if you put on either one right now, I'd probably be like, "Yep, let's watch that," because that was freaking hilarious. So both of them were fantastic movies. All right, tell you what, Ray, we'll kind of do this round robin type style. So what would you like to? You go first, and what was and then pick what category you'd like to do.
So I'm gonna go TV next then.
All right, so TV next. So what was your favorite TV show from 2023?
This one pulled that all my nostalgia. Picard season 3.
Nice.
I loved it. It was it was so good. It was all nostalgia, and I don't know. I was happy with where it ended up, and even if we don't get season 4, I'm okay. Like I got the nostalgia I needed out of that one. So
yeah.
Good deal. I have heard nothing but fantastic things about it. Maybe eventually, you know what? Maybe that's what I should do in March is get Paramount Plus, because like all of my stuff, I cannot work. I physically cannot work on projects because I'll be at my mom's house. All my stuff will be packed up. I will have a lot of time to burn. So yeah, maybe that might be an idea. So yeah. Sean, what was your favorite TV show of 2023?
This was hard. I'm flip-flopping every 10 minutes here. I'm going to go with Picard season 3 as well, just being the huge TNG fan, and they did it so well. And they set themselves up for a whole new series, which by the sounds of it is very close to be happening.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, that it just was so well. The toss-up was Strange New World season 2. Friggin' Star Trek and a musical. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How did you make that work? But you did it.
And that's another thing I heard. A lot of people were just like, I did not think that episode was going to work. And they totally nailed it. So,
oh my God. So like that, the whole series is excellent. But yeah, TNG wins out at Picard season 3.
Cool. My big one, I had to wrestle with this. There were a couple of different things that came out that I did greatly enjoy. And then when I kept kind of reading in the list, I saw this one. I was like, nope, that's it. And that is The Last of Us. I never played the games on the PlayStation. So I had a rough idea of kind of what to expect. But then the thing with the TV shows is you never know, like they may go way off. Like they may just take the core of whatever it is and do a completely new story. And everyone I've talked to has been like, I really enjoyed this series. And the changes that were made, they were just like, no, I get it. I get why those changes were made. But yeah, of course, that kind of, throwaway episode that everyone talks about, the one with, what's his name?
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman. Like,
That was like their best episode.
it was. And here's the funny thing was, I was so afraid to start this show because I was like, I don't want to say burned by The Walking Dead, but I mean, like, I got season after season after season of The Walking Dead. And it's just like, okay, we're doing the same thing over and over again. And this is very much kind of Walking Dead type universe, but we actually got stories about other people living in this universe. And that was something that I thought was missing from The Walking Dead. It was one of the reasons why Christy and I fell off from watching it. And that episode, I was just like, if we get more episodes like that, where we take characters that, somewhat important or whatever, and we get like a full story on what's going, how they survived in this, hellscape, I'm totally down for that. And I loved it. I also, there were times I was like, maybe we could use some more of the clickers. Oh, we got them. That's cool. But it never seemed, it seemed high quality the entire time. And I enjoyed it the entire run. And I can't wait to see, I know there's definitely going to be a season 2 because there was way too much hype. That show did way too good for HBO for them to be like, oh no, maybe not. So, Kris, what was your favorite show from 2023?
So this one was hard because there was so much, and I was just like, it's like one of those close your eyes and just pick kind of thing. So I picked Conk on Earth.
Oh, okay. Yes, that was hilarious.
So funny. I love that character so much. Philomeno Conk. I hope they do another round of that.
They really should.
It's so hilarious because the funny thing is that there's fucking people like that in the world.
Yes.
They're serious, like dead serious when they ask these questions. And the fact that it's so funny. And she does such a good job. And I really, really want there to be another season. So that's my pick.
You have to wonder how many of those people got the joke and how many of them were just like, is this real? Like, is this really happening?
Yeah. The experts, some of them that are like going along, they're like, okay. And then the other ones are like,
yeah. I like the ones that are like, oh, well, that's not quite the way.
No, I'm not saying that. And they were just, it was so good. And the amount of research that they did and just how much she committed to the bit. It was like she committed. It was super good.
For her to be able to deliver those lines and not crack up was like,
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure they probably had to do it multiple takes, but still, like the fact that they even got one, like there's some of those lines I'm like, there's no way I could have ever said that with a straight face. Like I would have busted up every single time.
Yeah, not at all.
So, Sean, you've got books and other.
Let's go for books.
All right. So what was your number one book from 2023?
That would be Dennis C. Taylor's Earthside. I've read a lot of books, but it's Dennis Taylor. If he had another Bobaverse book released in 2023, that would have won. But I do like the Earthside. I
do too. In fact, that was my pick as well. I went back through and looked at all the books that I read this year, and it was really hard not to just clump all of Expeditionary Force together. I mean, I know they've come out over a long period of time, but I mean, I consumed that entire series.
I think we got one in 2023.
I think we did too. So we would have had one, but like I read the entire, I read the entire series last year, and so that was a big chunk of my time.
Yeah.
But even then, like, when we were reviewing that book, I even said my book crush is in this book. Like, how can I not pick Earthside? So, but yeah, so that was my pick as well. As I was going through, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no, that's it.
Yeah.
End of story. So
yeah, it was a quick choice for me too.
Yeah. Kris, what was your favorite book from 2023?
So again, there's a lot of books, and I could have been here for a while telling you all the wonderful books that I read. But the one that I picked, the one that like I can't stop kind of forgetting about. And if anybody asks me what would you read, I would pick this one.
Mhm.
It's The Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. And this is the historical fiction of Jesus's wife.
Oh, okay.
It was so good, and it was so well researched. And as somebody who grew up in the church, I felt it was just really neat. It was like, what an idea, because it's also been theorized and all that kind of stuff of, did he actually have a wife, and would he have had a child, all that kind of stuff. But like, it was so well researched and just beautifully written. I really liked the main character. She was feisty. But it, just what life would be like 2,000 years ago in the, Jerusalem and Kenya and all that Alexandria and all that stuff. So anyways, but it was beautiful. And I would read it again.
Cool.
It was very, very good.
Ray, I know you're going to say Lincoln in the Bardo, so.
Oh.
Who wouldn't?
I was going to pick one of Jen's books.
Oh,
Well, I thought about doing that too. Something about trees.
To be honest, it was going to be Earthside, but since two of you already picked it,
you can pick it too.
no, because I was him and Han because I wanted to pick this one as well. So I'm going to go with House in the Cerulean Sea. It has some of my favorite characters. I
Yeah.
love those friggin' kids.
Mhm.
And just some great interactions as well. Like the dude that's really high, like and he's interacting with Lucy and stuff like that. Like, and they're talking about music. Like, it was such a good story, and it was a lot of fun. So.
I did enjoy that book as well. So
Thank you, Kris.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Made up for the next book that I picked that none of you liked, so it was good.
That's
All right, so the last thing I have is the other category, and I was trying to think of like a podcast or YouTube show or whatever that kind of really stood out, and honestly this one just kind of squeaked in right at the last second for me, and that is Super Mario Wonder. I love side-scrolling Mario games, the old style. Well, you'd say 2D, but side-scrolling Mario games. And this has got so much fun stuff in it. I always wonder when they pick some of the new forms for Mario, like, well, how is this going to play out or whatever? And the fact that he turns into an elephant in this one, I'm just like, okay, so let's see what we got going on here. There's so much, they've packed even so much more character into just like the animations and stuff. So like when he's the elephant, like he has to kind of squeeze into the tube to get in through it and stuff. And then he's just big and bulky and can run through stuff and everything. But the thing that really makes it was I have played it some by myself. And I think Ray, you even sent me a video of this. What Nintendo thinks playing multiplayer is like versus what it's actually like playing like.
Nope.
Yeah, and trying to play with two 11-year-olds is both the most fun and frustrating thing ever.
You two just die. I'll get you to where we need to go.
In some cases, yes. And then when they do die, they're trying, like, you can like move, kind of semi-move your character around so that they'll pop the bubble and you'll come back to life. And I'm like, they're like, Dad, you're jumping out of the way. I'm like, I have to jump. I'm about to die. Like, sorry, you got to keep up. Maybe don't die.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, but also very frustrating at the same time. So I look forward to continuing to play that with the boys this year. So, Kris, what's your favorite other thing from 2023?
I picked YouTube.
Okay.
Last year, I found this person's account. Her name's Caroline Winkler, and she started off as a interior design account. That's not her background. She tried to be an actress for like over 10 years and then was just like, this isn't going anywhere. This is wrecking my life. Quit that, did tech for a little bit, and then had a bit of a breakdown and needed to go back home. And anyway, so she fell into design. She's just like the weirdest person, and I really like it. Super quirky. Last year it was probably the most intentional and like purposeful year that I've had, and it was like trying to find people on the internet that I could relate to and that I actually like enjoyed how authentic they were being, and could like appreciate just how ridiculous they were being, but they were doing it anyway. And she's one of them. And she's she's got a podcast now that I listen to sometimes with one of her school friends that she had, and they're cute together. They're adorable, but it's nice to see somebody be themselves and a dork and really like, I don't care that you don't like this. I have enough hangups in my life.
It's fine.
Your opinion doesn't matter, but I'm going to put this out anyways because somebody's going to like it. And yeah, but I do
Nice.
like content.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Ray, what's your other pick for 2023?
So I went with a game. I was a bit surprised about how much I actually enjoyed it. I went with Hogwarts Legacy, only because it's probably the third most I played on a game last year, maybe fourth. But even though it was in the top, one of the top games that I played, it was one that I did enjoy. There's not a multiplayer or anything like that yet, but there's rumors that they might do something like that. There's a big expansion that is apparently coming for free as well. And I don't know, it's an enjoyable game. There's a lot to do if you want to, explore an open world, and yeah, it's just a fun world to be in. So
cool. Sean, what's your other pick for 2023?
I went with the game as well. Diablo 4. It came out 2023. Now I haven't been able to play too much of it the last couple of months, but
that's why
it doesn't have helicopters. It was like I miss having helicopters.
At least Hogwarts gets you a broom.
Yeah, but like I've been playing Diablo for 20 odd years, so it's I thought they did really well with Diablo 4. So yeah, that's my pick.
Very cool. So let's move on to looking to the future. We've looked back at the last year. Let's look forward to what's happening this year. Tell you what, Kris, we'll let you go first again. So which of the 4 categories would you like to pick?
I'm just going for my list down. So movies again.
All right, movies again. So what is the most anticipated movie for 2024 you're looking forward to?
I don't know if you released a picture today or yesterday, but Tim Burton released the poster for Beetlejuice. And it's coming out September.
This year.
Yes, I saw that picture and I was just like,
excited. Like the fact that I'm aging into a Lydia Dietz Wednesday Adam hybrid. I'm loving, but like it's just the quirkiest world, and I love that they're extending it. And
it's being shot, and it was shot in London, England too.
So I'm really hoping
as well. So that is interesting. Sorry.
So I'm really hoping that it's just good. I really want something that's campy and creepy, but not like horror creepy, just like a little bit kind of creepy and unexpected. And I'm interested to see how Jenna Ortega plays their daughter and how that happened. But yeah, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I saw the it looks like he's holding the tape from the waiting room. I was like, that number one, the fact that they made the callback to that was genius.
Yep.
And I'm just like, okay, I think someone has really taken their time and really loves this property to write this. So at least that's what we're hoping. That's what we always hope from these legacy sequels, is that someone who really, really loved the original is like, no, this is what I see has happened, and we get a good story of it. So and it's not just a cash grab.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, because nostalgia over the last little bit, especially during the pandemic, has been huge. So I'm hoping this isn't a reboot for a reboot's sake. I'm really hoping.
Right.
No, I'm gonna sorry. Keep going.
Now.
Well, so what I was gonna say is I agree with you. The interesting thing is I think they're learning from titles like Ghostbusters, where we pulled on the nostalgia string and it didn't work out. And
pulled the wrong one.
And then they went baback to what fans actually wanted and loved, and it's very successful. So I think they're getting that idea.
I hope so. Because I mean, there have been some that have done well. They've been done that have just done okay. I mean, Top Gun should not have been as awesome as it was, and that movie was friggin' fantastic. Like, it's like, really, you had a sequel to Oh no, this was a really good sequel to Top Gun.
It's a little ridiculous.
You didn't watch it?
Yes, I've seen it. I have seen it.
When did you watch it?
I don't know, but I've watched it. I know I have, because now
There are sections of it that you watch because I had it on the screen, but that's about it.
That whole thing over that one landscape, and only Tom Cruise's character could do it. Nobody else could do it, so they had to bring him back. I was like, okay.
That's like every Tom Cruise movie, though. So
Yeah,
But Miles Teller was the perfect cast for Goose's son.
it was.
That role.
Yeah, that was perfect.
yeah, he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So, all right, Ray, what movie are you looking forward to the most?
How can it not be Deadpool 3?
The
for me,
only Marvel movie we're getting in 2020. Like, I'm just like, what?
it's Deadpool 3.
Oh,
So
right.
it's the only Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one that's going to tie up. I believe that it's going to tie off all of the X-Men Fox universe properly.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually going to get to say goodbye to these characters properly now, I think. And like, how can you not be anticipating for that? And all of the jokes that they can pull now, and the writers are back in as well, so all the ad-libbing is allowed. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm so looking forward to it.
And the only downfall that I'll say with this is it's gonna kind of ruin the X-Men for when they're actually introduced into the new version of whatever they're going to be, because I think you're gonna fall in love with all these characters all over again.
Maybe that. Yeah. That is a possibility. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We've already gotten Professor X back on screen. It was kind of like, okay, maybe Logan should have been the last time, but then you watch it and you're just like, oh, it's still Professor X. Like, I love to be in this.
With the music and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
all right, Sean, what's your most anticipated movie?
That's Deadpool 3. That was
Fair enough.
hands down. It's like it's gonna relaunch Marvel is what it's gonna do.
I sure
it's
hope so,
getting
because they
stagnant.
really need something.
They're cleaning house and letting Ryan Reynolds do it, and Hugh Jackman's like holding on to Ryan Reynolds' pocket. Like it's gonna be perfect. So yeah.
When does
can't
that come
wait.
out again?
It's like May.
Okay. So
Yeah, the first trailer comes out for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Ooh.
Because their entire budget, all of Marvel's budget, is for one movie. So
I know, right? So they might as well go big.
Go.
Yeah.
Pull all the stops. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you could probably guess what my number one is going to be.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I'm holding up a poster for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire right now. Obviously, this is my most anticipated movie. This movie just looks we thought we were going to get a trailer during the Super Bowl. We got not only one, we got two trailers dropped earlier this week. They're both very different in tone, and they both look freaking awesome. I cannot wait for this movie. They have said they pulled quite a few. It's kind of like when they were redoing Star Wars. I think they were like, we have to tie up the original story, and that's what they did in Afterlife. And so we're continuing on. And both Gil and Jason have said, we are very much pulling stuff from real Ghostbusters. So like the main bad guy, the right back there, floating back there, Garaka, seems very much like a real Ghostbusters type villain. And I'm just like, I'm so down for this. They've already talked about, if it does well, they're talking about expanding out maybe to other locations, and getting that kind of, not necessarily monster of the week, but like let's come up with some more big bads and not just keep going back through. Even though we do see some ghost characters from the previous movie show back up, but I mean, I'm fine with that too, as long as they're not the majority of the movie. I'm good. We've got some new equipment that's coming out. Everyone's excited about. So yeah, we're just super excited for this movie. And like I said, that was like I didn't have to think about that. I was like, oh, well, obviously Ghostbusters, and that one comes out in less than 2 months. So getting excited for it. All right, Ray, which category would you like to go with next?
Well, I'm going to continue on the tradition of going to TV then.
Okay. So what's the most anticipated TV show?
I have one written down as a backup just in case, but because I'm going first, I know it's coming out this year. Stranger Things final season. I'm
Yes.
waiting to see how they wrap this up. Like the nostalgia that it brings up, as well as the storyline that they have, all the characters that are fantastic. The acting is great. I'm really curious how they're going to wrap this all up. So I hope they do justice. There's some question marks from the last season that need to be answered.
Yes, there are.
I want happy endings, however.
Only happy endings. That is it.
Hopefully so.
All the endings that I'm going to accept, just happy. Everybody lives happily fucking ever after.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to enjoy it then.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be at least a couple of deaths. So
I have a feeling I might have to watch it first or...
No, I'll watch it. I'm just thinking about it as it's happening.
Yes, and then she'll never watch it again, and I'll
No.
want to watch it all the time. So, so yeah, that'll be the other one.
yeah, that was my number 2. That was a close number 2. So, Sean, what's the most anticipated TV show for you in 2024?
It'll be Discovery season 5. It's
Nice.
the final season for Star Trek. So,
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're kind of cleaning house on the Star Trek series. I think Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks were the only ones that squeaked through. But they knew they had planned for this. So there won't be any loose ends or anything like that.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah. Discovery's been hit or miss for me, but it gave us Strange New Worlds, so I'm not going to complain too much about it.
Nice.
But no, I'm looking forward to seeing how they kind of wrap things up. So
very cool. Mine, I was anticipating when Netflix first announced it, and then when they dropped the full trailer, was it last week? I don't think it was earlier this week. I think it was it had been last week. I just lost my damn mind. Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's done by the original people who did the original show. I'm super excited for it. I've had conversations with a couple other friends, and like my buddy Travis is like, yes, but like he's also very much, why do we remake stuff unless there's a different story or a different take on it? And I get that. That's one reason why I did like I almost put Scott Pilgrim Takes Off as one of my favorite shows because it did a fantastic job. It is a completely different story, same basic premise, but we get a different story out of it. So it did have something to say. They look like they are very much copying the beats of the original show for this one. But that being said, I don't normally watch the actors react to the trailer type thing, but I did for this one. And the kids even said, the 4 main kids even said, they're like, yeah, they said, we had to rework a lot of the stuff just because a lot of the humor was more so for younger kids. And it was because it was animated. It was, they could do like, the anime, like big eyes and stuff like that. And they're like, we can't do that. So we had to figure out another way we can convey the humor. And so the humor is a little more grown up. And I know people I have talked to, I'm just like, you don't understand. This series is so fantastic. Like it teaches kids, dealing with, family and friends and just I mean, anything you can think of. It's so wonderfully done. But I understand it is a cartoon. It was originally based for kids. So you might, the humor may be too kiddie for you and you can't get around it. I'm hoping that this is going to be a little bit more grown up, but keep all of the base stuff that's there. So I can say, okay, if you can't do the animation, cool, go watch this one and completely enjoy it with your family and absolutely love all the characters. But yeah, so it looks fantastic. It looks like they actually got the story right. We don't talk about that M. Night Shyamalan garbage version that came out. Yeah, it was so bad. It had none of the heart that show had, and this looks like they got it. So I'm super excited for that. In fact, it comes out here not too long from now, so I have to check that out. So, all right, Kris, what's your TV show for 2024 you're looking forward to?
Bridgerton.
Oh, okay.
Bridgerton. So it comes out, they're doing it in 2 chunks. So there's the first half in May, and then they're doing the second half in June. It was supposed to come out in March, but then with strikes and everything, it got pushed back. And this is the 3rd season of Bridgerton because Queen Charlotte was a spinoff separate thing. And this one follows Cullen, who is the 3rd Bridgerton, and Penelope Featherington. And they've been friends, like lifelong friends, because their families live in the same sort of Richie cul-de-sac. in London, and yeah, she's a wallflower, and spoiler, she's also Lady Whistledown, but nobody knows except for one person. So that'll probably all get revealed in the season 2, and so I'm excited to see Penelope. And Penelope's one of those characters she's a wallflower. She's also not the classic beauty.
Mhm.
She's shorter, she's quieter, she's not stereotypically what Hollywood would go for. She's a voluptuous lady.
Mhm.
And Colin is, he's the third son and he's been traveling and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I just think it's cute that he's seeing her in a brand new light. It's adorable. Also, I'm really hoping it's not raunchy. And I tried watching the first season. I'm like, I can't, because this character's supposed to be 16. I cannot. And then the second season was better, but this one I'm hoping is sweet.
Yeah, I walked in on Christy watching the first season a couple of times, and I was just like,
oh, dude, yeah, like
okay.
Listen, that's how I got into Game of Thrones.
Hey, listen, I mean, oh yeah, like especially that first season was just like, what are you watching? Like,
I know we told Quinn because we're like, we love Game of Thrones.
We can't watch it.
We can't watch with you, and like the first 3 seasons are raunchy. Like they are raunchy. So just like,
don't tell me you're watching it.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Just go watch it.
But the whole overarching idea of the show you would like, but yeah, and then it's less raunchy after. But
yeah,
the ending is terrible. But still,
don't watch it.
Yeah. Once a lot of the characters are like, all right, hey, listen, everyone knows me. I'm not going to show my boobs. Okay, just not happening this season. Deal with it.
It's just fine, but like, that was a lot in Game of Thrones. It was like,
oh yeah,
slapping in the face all the time.
That first season, never forget when they're pulling back through the guys watching people have sex, and it's like through a keyhole, and then he's got stuff going on with him, and then it pulls back again. I'm just like, what? Like, that was such a crazy shot. I'm just like, okay, what am I watching? And of course, I think Christy walked in about that time. She's like, what are you watching? So
it's a show, I swear.
Yeah.
He did that when I was watching Outlander. I forget which episode. He was like, what are you watching? I'm like, it's Outlander.
You know what scene it was?
Yeah, it was not the great scene. I didn't like it, actually. It was not a good scene.
It was not a good scene.
No. Okay. It was in the book, and I was wondering how they're going to portray it, but he walked in on that scene, and it was just like, what are you watching? I'm like,
I can't watch this.
All right, Sean, you have books and other again.
We'll go books.
All right.
Another Dennis E. Taylor, book 5, The Bobiverse. Not till we. What is it called? Not till we are lost. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
But because
not until September, 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got pushed and from Audible by the sounds of it.
Mm-hmm.
But book 4, like. I wasn't a huge fan of book 4 because they were kind of restarting, like setting up again, which I get. But by the end of it, it's like, man, they're setting up a lot of stuff here. So
yes,
I'm really looking forward to book 5. The Quinlans were just annoying, but it was the side stories, what was going on in the Bobiverse, like the moot that were more interesting.
I totally agree with that 100%. The first time I read the book, I thought, this was okay. And then I've reread it several times since. And every time I do, I like it more and more. But you're right. The stuff going on with the Quinlans was interesting. But the fractures in the Bobiverse and the unanswered questions, like what caused Starfleet to go so far off, like the fact that it even says we've talked to some of those guys and like they don't talk about it. It's like, okay, then tell me what happened.
Yeah. So I can't wait for that. Definitely probably going to be a reread before that September comes out. I'll just do all.
I'm sure I can squeeze those 4 books in again sometime during the summer.
Unless I'm doing the Expeditionary Force again. We'll see.
Oh, well, good luck with that, dude. Well, yeah, obviously that is my pick as well. Like, it's hard for me unless it's a sequel or unless I know the specific author. So like, for example, like if I were going to look up, books coming out this year, I'd have to look for specific series that I like, which is what I did, or I'd have to look up specific authors. So if it'd be like Daniel Suarez has a new book coming out, I'd be like, all right, that would probably be top of my list. Stephen King's got a new book coming out. All right, that might be at the top of my list. But yeah, Bobaverse, done. Like, still one of my all-time favorite series ever. So, Kris, what's a book you're looking forward to in 2024?
This was hard because
It is hard.
There's a few. One's already come out. One is coming out this month, and then another one's not coming out till later, and I can't remember when. But I picked Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, which is a sequel to Divine Rivals, which was the one that had the best love scene I'd ever read. I had to read it twice. Apparently this is a slower pace, which I don't know how much slower it can get because the first one was kind of slow. But I am looking forward to it. I really like the characters that she's created. Not so much the I guess the paranormal fantasy part of it all. I really don't care about that, but that's because it's pretty low fantasy, I would call it, like really secondary, barely a thought. It's just a reason why these characters are together.
Okay.
And I really liked it. But I really like the dynamic between the two main characters. I'm really hoping for a lot of that. And I don't want to know the stupid brother. I don't care about the stupid brother. So I hope he's not in this a whole lot. Yeah.
Ray, what book are you looking forward to?
So I saw some writing about Ishmael, and
really,
something is in the works. Unfortunately, it's not coming out this year, so that doesn't count.
Yeah,
but the fact we're getting more Ishmael is interesting.
that would be nice.
I thought that'd be nice. Then I saw that there's a bit of an update with the Shackleford house, and the book that he was writing about the wizard's cat has failed him. And so he's back in the drawing board on where he's going to take that story.
Aww.
So with that disappointment, I'm going to go with an exciting thing, which is Somewhere Beyond the Sea, book 2 of House in the Cerulean Seas coming out this year.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing. I thought he was just doing one-offs.
Nope. So we have book 2 coming this year, and I can see what the new kids are going to be like.
I will definitely read that. I enjoyed the first one enough. I will definitely read that one.
Yeah. So that's that's the one I'm going to be excited.
Well, that's exciting. It's sad to hear about the wizard's cat, though.
No.
Yeah, he said the story he was coming up with failed in spectacular fashion, and like any good cat, the story will come on its own. So
fair enough. I mean,
so
yeah. I mean, Stephen King. The way Stephen King describes writing, he's like, the story comes to me and I just tell it. Like my job is to put it down on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And if the story doesn't come, the story doesn't come. So,
yeah.
All right. Do we go through everyone's books?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have other, and oddly enough, I don't have anything here. I could not think of anything really in particular. I looked at games that are coming out. And honestly, I've thought about it, and with the new move coming up, I think it would technically be something old for me, but I'm sure there would be new episodes as well. But I think I'm really going to be leaning on 2 YouTube channels in particular, and that is Woodworking for Mere Mortals. And because I have a feeling I may be paying for his class on like setting up a wood shop for less than $1,000. Because I don't need a full wood shop, but I mean, definitely he has some ideas there. And then the other one is, is it Make Something? Yeah, it's Make Something, with David. And, he literally is setting up a second shop using nothing but like, I think they're wind tools and WEN. And he was like, I'm not, of course his saying is, I ain't mad at it. And just kind of getting like, I'm going to be in the position, I'm going to be collecting tools. Now, granted, I am going to like look on Facebook and stuff like that, but I'm going to be setting up a shop this year here pretty quick. And I'm super excited about it. And I'm already like, okay, I know there are certain tools I need to have. What's the best way I can get a decent one at, and it's not going to break the bank? And I think those 2 channels in particular, I'm going to be leaning on heavily, both the older stuff they've done and then the stuff they're talking about now. Because both of them have talked about, hey, I've done a shop redo, kind of changed my theory up or whatever. And it's been interesting to watch. So
the one thing that I've seen a lot of people doing, and I'm kind of agreeing with them right now, that instead of a table saw, a lot of people are using what you call it, a bandsaw.
Okay, yeah.
And
Hmm.
it's just interesting that they're using the bandsaw for a lot of the different cuts because it's more versatile than what a table saw can be.
Yeah.
However, all of the sleds that you can build and all the things that you can build with a table saw, with dado blades and all the other stuff, that's a benefit as well. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would like a table saw, but like I said, of all the tools, it's for what I'm planning on doing because I am really focusing on making things that are small props. So I'm not going to be building
Yeah.
bigger wood things or whatever. Will I get to that point? Who knows? Believe me, I've already started thinking like Christy and I are looking at, trying to get maybe some new furniture pieces here and there. And it's already crossed my mind. I'm like, I don't want to commit to anything yet, but like, who knows? It may be, what if we just went with something cheap right now? And then when I get a little better, maybe I can make this piece of furniture.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
because I've been watching plenty of stuff and I'm just like, I think I could do that. I think if I take my time, I can do that. So yeah,
yeah.
those were my picks. So
I
Chris,
plan on.
oh,
I
go
got
on.
a planer that I just can't wait to use because I want to
Nice.
build all my like desks in the man cave and all that. I
Uh-huh.
want to do that myself.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's
So
still sealed up in plastic. I'm like, I want to use it so bad.
I have the desk that I'm using is from IKEA. It's a fine desk. It's okay. It's very simple. It's basically just like a frosted glass that has a metal rim around it, and then it's got four aluminum legs, and it's fine. Do I really need this big a desk? Since I'm not going to be working on it in my new house, do I need this desk to be this big? And I'm kind of thinking, no, not really. So I was halfway thinking about getting rid of it. The other thing I've been thinking about is I definitely want to do some model railroading. And I've thought about what if I built it into the desk? I could have it come down as a top. So I have surface to work on if I need to. But then I also have, a train set in there that I can, mess around with if I want to. And so yeah, those are the ideas that like you're talking about
Hmm.
building the desk and stuff for the man cave. I'm right there with you, Sean. Like I'm already the gears are already turning on some of this stuff. So Chris, what other thing are you looking forward to in 2024?
So I picked YouTube again, and there's this account I follow. Her name's Alexandra Gator, and she is an interior decorator. And I've been following her for a few years now, and it's been interesting to see her evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Grown her team. She's got like 8 or 9 people working for her. And she's a full-time carpenter who has a huge shop that they rent out in the building that they're in and stuff. She puts out videos most Saturdays. I just love her business model. She's based in Toronto. She is very internet savvy. She used to work in publication. She used to work for a Canadian magazine called Chatelaine. And then now has parlayed that experience in publication to getting brand deals and marketing. So what she does is she does these call outs and she'll explain this is what like the room we're looking for. This is where you have to be. She only does the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. This is the type of design that we're looking to do, and she'll put up little examples. And this is sort of the time frame in which it has to be available for. And and so these people win essentially these makeovers, and it's really cool. And she does all these like the furniture's free because it's all been donated essentially because she puts it on camera and she talks about it. She's got some really great exclusive stuff with companies. And yeah, and she does custom pieces too with her carpenter. And it's really neat. It's all small spaces. A lot of it's renter friendly,
Mm-hmm.
which is really cool. I love her chemistry with her team, her and her carpenter, but his name's Graham, and they're called Sniff 1 and Sniff 2 because they sniff everything. Glue,
Okay.
whatever. It's like this weird thing that they do and they sniff it. But I don't know.
That's weird.
But they just
Yeah.
how comfortable they all are with each other. And it's really cool and it's nice. And I like watching her.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to what she does this year, and I'm really hoping for some big stuff for her.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ray, what's your other pick?
I'm going to go with a game again. I looked this one up. It's coming out later this year. I'm hoping that they take feedback from their fans so that it's not a first person point of view.
Okay.
Knows that I hate first person, but it's Indiana Jones. There's
Oh,
an
okay.
game coming out. It's called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yeah.
It's a story about when he's in younger years, not like the movies or anything. But, I don't know. It looks like a really interesting game. It's definitely gonna be a puzzle base. You're likely flying around and stuff like that. I'd be in. I'm just hoping that they make it a third person option.
Right.
So if not, I'll have to get it on computer and wait for them to make a mod where it is third person.
Fair enough. Yeah. I was gonna say for that type of genre, you would third person kind of makes more sense. Like I'm thinking Tomb Raider,
Exactly.
Prince of Persia, that
Prince
kind
of
of
Persia.
It's a platformer, right? Like it's a puzzle platformer.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that they went first person, and that's been the big feedback from the entire community that's behind this. They're like, we're excited. We're disappointed that you went first person.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping at least they just put an option in there to make it third person. But we'll see.
Yep, we'll see. Sean, what's your other pick?
I'm really hoping it comes out this year. There's a chance. Fable 4.
Okay.
I love the other Fable games. Had so much fun playing them. I'm finding I haven't been playing as much game. Well, it's been definitely going down over the last couple of years, but I do make time specifically for like the epic ones. Mass Effect was like that. Fable was like that. So yeah, Fable 4, and it's funny because I'll talk to other gamers and I'm like, oh, do you remember Fable? And then within 10 seconds it's like, well, how many wives did you have? Because like it's just then it's like, yeah, I had quite a few. Did they ever meet? Oh, once. It was really horrible kind of thing. But I know Deb used to love watching me play it, and she's like, "Oh, is that the wife from that town, or is it from this town over here?" Like, she had a ball watching me play too. Like,
that's hilarious.
It's not like I intentionally went and got married several times. It just kind of happened.
That's funny.
But anyway, the gameplay is like, even the old games were kind of rudimentary, but the story was so good and it was so open. And it kind of set like how you could change your character. Like you could become evil or you could become good. It was one of the first games to do that. So the trailer for it. So there is a trailer got released for Fable 4. I guess it would have been earlier this year. And it was what's his name? He played Beast in the newer X-Men. Holt.
Holt. Yeah, Nicholas Holt.
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt plays like the giant in it.
Oh, cool.
The trailer was just phenomenal. So yeah, I just can't wait for it. But like any game, release dates are very fluid. So we'll see.
And it seems like every other day we're hearing about different gaming companies laying off a large portion of people. So yeah, it's kind of, I know games are, super popular. They make more money than Hollywood combined in some cases. And yet it's like, hey, we got the new game out. By the way, we're laying off a third of the staff. And it's just like, what? So yeah.
Well, the other thing too is like you look at Diablo 4 right now. What was it, 2 weeks ago, Sean, that the new
season
a week ago?
2 weeks, or not even 2 weeks, like last week.
Yeah, it was last week that they released a new season, and it was just over 8 gig download to update it.
Damn.
And then today they released another update, and it's over
10.
Like
what?
It's your massive updates. Like
damn.
Anyway. But they've also released how many people in the different.
Well, so it's crazy. So
that's crazy.
I'm kind of worried that's the field my son's going into. Like, no.
Yeah, it's Quinn wants to look into that. So
yeah. So
Of course,
We'll
the thing
see.
about that is I'm sure, as they're getting some of these people are getting let go from some of these bigger gaming studios, they're also like, fuck it, we're going to do our own thing. And the market, it's never been a better place now to be able to create an indie game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I'm sure some of the little, some of the smaller houses that maybe are, haven't been gobbled up yet are just like, yes, we're looking for people. We know y'all are good people. We'll hire you right now. Like,
Yeah.
so, because you
Yeah.
got, I understand, they've got a bottom line they have to look at, but if you're a smaller indie group, like I'd be constantly be like, hey, we're looking for people, and we're, we're a little group. If you want to make a difference and actually have an impact on the game,
Yeah.
come on over.
We're here, we're listening. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for the week, for the month. Let's go ahead and move on to our picks and or pans. Would anyone like to go first?
Sure.
All right, Ray, what's your pick and or pan?
So first pick is I did do life drawing last night, my first class I ever did, which was very, it was an opportunity to grow as an artist, and I'm trying to come to terms with that title. It's not there yet, but anyway.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, I'm just, it was really an interesting time to be able to do some quick drawings. There were times where, so with a life, with a model, and you're doing the life drawings, they do like 30-second poses, and you have to do like drawings after 30 seconds, and then it's like 1 minute, and then they do some 5-minute poses, and then it's like 7-minute poses, and then we ended with a 20-minute pose at the end, and so like, there was a 10-minute and 20-minute or something like that. So yeah, it was a lot to learn off the top of like, holy shit, 30 seconds is really quick.
Yeah.
So especially when you're trying to draw. So but I think I got into a little bit of a flow by the end of it, and then the sessions are going to stop for a little while, and then they're looking at picking it up back in the spring. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then the other pick is I got a new job.
Yay!
And, yeah, I start next week. It's a week from now that I'm going to start in a new position. So yeah, it's going to be fun and interesting, and I'm going to probably be drinking from the fire hose for a little bit on how to learn how to do some stuff, but that's okay. Figure it out.
So the drawing, was this virtual or was this in person?
In person.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a tattoo studio in town that hosts it. So.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Kris, you want to go next?
Sure. We have an adult child now. Logan,
So she moves out tomorrow.
just all the dad jokes from this guy over here.
Oh,
about.
I'm there too. Like the boys, what have I told you? When you're 18, you're out. I'm like, that's not real, but
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So that was pretty surreal. I mean, Sean's already been there for a whole year and is about to have a kid who can legally drink very soon. But yeah, it happens so fast, and it's just the weirdest thing ever. Like everybody's like, when they were little, everybody's like, oh, enjoy it, and you're like, they sneezed in my mouth. I'm not enjoying this right now. Like, tired, touched out, and everything like that. And then
I'm their snot rag.
They literally use as a snot rag and have coughed in my mouth. But it is the truest thing. It goes by so fast, and she's 18, and it's amazing. But it went by really fast. And this is the first time in their life where I'm like, not so fast. And it's not working.
So, and there's a friend of mine, she's about to have her second. And so she's like just getting into the stages of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was talking to her about it, because she's like, what's that like with an 18-year-old? I'm like, all I'm going to say is every stage has been my new favorite. I've enjoyed every new stage of being a parent, and every one of them has been my new favorite part. So
both of us. Everything. I don't long for the toddler days. Don't get me wrong. I don't long for any of at.
No.
My cousins are having babies now, and they bring them over, and I'm like, oh,
They're cute. Get
that's
them out.
adorable. Do you want to hold them?
No, they pooped. They're
I'm
yours.
good.
Yeah, I get that. Like I look back, Facebook does videos and pictures and stuff from when they're little, and you're just like, oh, they were so cute. I do miss that. But I like being able to crack jokes and watch movies and have actual conversations with people, with them, and it just
because they're getting in, they're fully formed people.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that, she's 18, and I just think it's awesome. And then my plan is we went to Jamaica over Christmas. And then when we got back, what I thought was allergies was not allergies. And we've spent half of January being sick and trying to get better. So
that sucks.
the last 2 weeks, I've just been trying to get back to just trying to.
Yeah, I still have a lingering cough.
Yeah.
Like
Both him and Logan still do.
And it wasn't COVID.
No, it wasn't COVID. We tested it. It wasn't COVID, but it was just like,
Just the
here,
flu.
relaxing vacation. Boom, you're sick. Fuck you. And then that's
Speaking of toddlers, that's where we got it.
we got it from our nephew who's 2.5. But yeah, so that kind of sucked because it was like, you get home and you're like, okay, so now it's the new year. You sort of not ramp up, but you're like, got a week left of the kids' vacation. Let's get some things done. And no, just I spent 4 days in bed, and then he got sick. Quinn got sick. Logan was last. She was sick for her birthday.
Yep.
Which kind of sucks, but that was not fun getting sick in just 2 weeks of just not.
That does suck.
Yeah. So the last 2 weeks have been a lot better. I feel like we've gotten back into the groove of things. Yeah.
Nice. Sean, what's your pick and or pan?
Couple picks. First one, I got a new phone, which
okay.
iPhone 15 Pro. It's quite a step up from iPhone SE.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
But the pan that goes with that though is I missed the home button.
You'll get used to it.
Use the damn thing yet?
Yeah,
But,
it took a little while to get used to that, but I did finally get used to it. So
I'm finding I'm liking photography more and more. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get myself a better phone and play around with it a little bit more. So, but
check into some of the photography apps. Apparently, there are some apps that can tap into some of the features better than the built-in one. I can ask I can ask Bev if I think about it. But yeah, there's one in particular that lets you get really, really detailed in there. So if you're really getting into photography, that would be the way to go.
Yeah. I just got it a couple of days ago. I haven't really played with it too much yet. But then my other pick is I'm supposed to have my big guys weekend this weekend. It's been like a couple years since these are my two best men from my wedding and my MC for my wedding. Like I grew up with the guys, and unfortunately I'm down to only one of them coming.
Oh no.
Just death in a family, and the other one just obligations and stuff like that. So, but you can tell we're getting a little older for these things, because we're talking about he's like, well, do you want me to bring some work clothes? We can do some stuff around the house. And, every time we do it, more and more alcohol goes home with everyone. I'm on medication now that I'm not hungry. The other vice was like, oh, let's eat a lot of junk food. And I'm like, have an apple.
Yeah.
Bedtime's going to be 8:30. So
you are getting old.
I know. I booked us to go bowling tomorrow night. So at least it's their drinking league tomorrow night. So maybe we can hook up with them. Maybe because I can stagger home. We'll see. Bowling seems to be my vice for all the good stuff. So maybe we'll do that. But
now, is it the bowling?
I'm usually I have to stagger to get there. Usually.
Well, yeah, but because you're throwing the bowling ball in the air and waiting to see if it's going to land on your head. Is that what the?
No. But I am thinking I might start trying to do some between the leg throws.
Okay.
That works. That's what I.
Oh, I know, but I never want to practice it on my own league night.
Right.
I don't want to screw up my scores too bad.
Yeah.
But like we're just renting a lane. Like shit, let's try that. So this should be pretty good. If I
Christy and
can master it, then I'm going to do it on league night.
That will be hilarious. Christy and I just finished rewatching Parks and Rec, and there's that episode where they're going bowling,
With
and
Tom.
Tom
Yeah.
just throwing it and keeps getting strikes, and then at the end of the episode, what's his name?
Ron
Just
Ron.
does it, and then scores a 300. When they come over to him, they're like, "Wow, we need to." He's like, "Don't talk to me. This never happened. You never saw me."
And it works. That's the thing. Like if you do, it does. It works.
That's the thing that drives me
Yeah.
insane about bowling is you can get really, really good and get really technical and be really awesome, and then some young punk can get up there and just throw the ball as hard as he can and still get a lot of pin play and still do fairly well. It's just like
It's
whatever.
It's funny here because I play Tuesday night in a league and I just go for fun. It's
right,
and it's 5-pin. It's not 10-pin.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little easier on my shoulders and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are like analyzing each throw, and yeah, they'll like knock down a few pins and like get all pissed off and all that. And I'm like laced. I can like it's easier for me because I see 10 pins usually, like double vision. Like barely can stand, and I like get a strike, and and then as soon as I do that, I look for those people. I'm like, did you see that? Did you see that? Yeah, I wasn't even trying. I did that.
I thought for sure you were going to tell me I see 10 pins, and then you go, I've got 2 balls, 1 for each of you.
Nah. The hardest thing for me going is like not doing it overhand. That's the thing with 5-pin.
Yeah, don't do that. That would be bad.
Or juggling the balls.
It's tempting.
So, yeah. But,
when I was in public school, we went and played 5-pin, and we figured out how to do the spin. So our whole goal was to spin as close to the gutter as you could and have it curve
and then
back.
come back.
And that's still my favorite thing to do.
I
don't even try that.
I had a friend in high school. His dad apparently was a semi-pro, so he spent a lot of time at the bowling alley. And that's like we went bowling one night, and he doesn't use the finger holes. He palms it, and he starts all the way on the left-hand side. And when he throws it, it goes all the way to the right. And it's just like it's leaning over into the gutter, and it doesn't. And then right there in the pocket, like he was damn good at it.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, "How'd you get that good?" He goes, "Dude, I can't tell you how much of my life I've spent at a bowling alley." So, but he's like, "You pick up."
Yeah, those are my picks and pans.
Nice. I've got 2 picks. The first one is I got to go meet a guy.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
So
No, that was a nobody.
I know, right? Well, I should apparently have looked better because apparently I look stupid. But so we got a call on before the last year, at the end of last year, that there's this group called Project Venkman. They work with the Chive, and they have the rights to use Bill Murray's likeness for pretty much all social media and all kind of events and shirts and everything else. Anyway, they do these events with Bill every so often, and they were having one in what's called Star Hill Ranch. It's basically right out of Austin, and they've literally bought these little buildings and houses and stuff, and it lines this little street, and it literally looks like a little town, like a little old western town. And they have filmed at least one season of, I can't remember if it was The Walking Dead proper or one of the spinoffs, but they filmed an entire season there. They have filmed multiple cooking shows there, like there's these barbecue cook-off things they've done there before. And anyway, so it's a really cool place. You can also have weddings there. It would be a fantastic wedding venue as long as it's not too hot or raining or whatever. But anyway, so they basically said, hey, yeah, we're going to do this event, and tickets are $900, but you can have a code to knock off like $400. And we're still like, thanks, that's awesome. There's no way I can pay $500 for the chance, not even the guarantee to meet Bill Murray. Yeah. So I was like, well, that's not going to happen. Anyway, after the new year, they posted another thing. They're like, hey, yeah, we're still doing the event. It's going to be awesome. you can still buy tickets. We're going to have axe throwing and basketball. We're going to have an Ecto-1 there. And so I wrote them back. I was like, hey, do y'all need any Ghostbusters to go with that Ecto-1 to take pictures? And they wrote me back, and I got on the phone and said, yeah, we can have some of y'all out there. So we got some free tickets. So I got to do that last Friday night. And so sure enough, we get there at 5 to set up. We start taking pictures at about 5:30 till 7 o'clock. They told us, hey, everyone's here. Go put your stuff away. Have a good time. So all the food is free. All the alcohol is free. Like it's like, of course, if you're paying $900, it better be free. But anyway, the man shows up and he's walking around just doing what he wants to do. Like literally, he's throwing an axe and he's going from room to room. And he's looking out. And so we were like, okay, he's coming down the street. What if we duck in here? So we ducked into the room. We ducked into the place that had the whiskey tasting, and we all kind of belly up to the bar. It's me and two of the other Austin groups, and then one of the San Antonio group. We gave him a ticket as well. And the man walks in, and there's a bunch of people around him. And I'm wearing this hat. If you go to my Instagram, you can see this hat I've started wearing. It looks like dripping slime. It's made out of foam. It looks like dripping slime. It was funny. It's a hat that Nickelodeon gave away like at a football game or a baseball game several years ago. They never actually sold the things. They just gave them away as a promotional thing. And I got to wear one from one of the San Antonio group. I was like, man, this is really cool. Like that's all everyone noticed about me. I have full Ghostbuster gear on. All everyone notices is the hat. So Christy bought me one for Christmas, or bought me one for my birthday. So I'm wearing the slime hat because we're trying to do everything we can to make sure we get noticed. The man walks in, he's talking to some people. He looks directly at me, stops. I think I said something like, oh, he got me too, or something like that. And he just starts kind of giggling and he goes, you look so stupid, and just starts laughing. And so does everyone else. And when I told Christy that, she's like, is that a good thing? I'm like, yes, I made Bill Murray laugh. Like, and then he's like right here in front of me, and they do some whiskey tasting or whatever. And then he goes on and does several other things throughout the evening or whatever. But it was super chill. Like you've probably all heard stories about Bill Murray. Either like there's the famous story of someone trying to get a picture of him, like at a restaurant or something while he's trying to eat, and he grabs the phone and literally tosses it off the building. And then there's the famous story of him like walking through a restaurant and walks over and grabs a French fry off someone's plate and says, no one will ever believe you, and just eats it and walks off. That like, there's a wide range of Bill Murray. But he was super chill, and people would come up and were, can I get a picture? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So it was right near the end of the night, and we grabbed him real quick, and I got a selfie with Bill Murray, which is insane because now that I've now met the 3 remaining original Ghostbusters. So, which was just insane. So that was my first pick. My second pick actually dropped today. By the time this episode comes out, it will still be an active thing. If you would please go to the Austin Ghostbusters Facebook page, you will see a post that says to click on this picture. It's going to take you to a album for the Buffalo Ghostbusters, and it will allow you to like the picture. And so what's happening is the Buffalo Ghostbusters before Christmas put together this thing. They always do a thing for Ghostbusters Day at the firehouse, at the actual firehouse. And this year they requested all of the franchises that wanted to submit their logo, and they're going to create a deck of playing cards, and each card's going to have one of the franchise logos on it. Well, there were 90 franchises that submitted, and only 50 of them can be on the cards. So we need you to please go to, like I said, go to the Austin Ghostbusters Facebook group. Look at the post. It will, kind of, walk you through it. You basically just click on the picture and then click like, and that's all you have to do. And so as long as we're in the top 50, we'll be on one of the playing cards, which is, that's kind of a cool thing. So that's the other thing I'm asking for you to do as my pick. And I guess one other little side pick, even though she's not here on the show. So we also had like our little monthly get together, like dinner, just kind of, hang out meeting or whatever. Jennifer gave me this as a Christmas present, and I opened them up and let the boys and Christy and the rest of the Ghostbusters try them. She bought this for me in England. Or I'm sorry, in Ireland. They're Ghostbusters themed, but they're basically chocolate covered marshmallows. And this was made for Answer the Call. Like this was back 2016, but the expiration date is until December of this year. So they were technically still good. So we tried them and they were fine. I mean, they were still soft and marshmallowy, and the chocolate tasted fine. But yeah, it was funny whenever I brought them out to the group, and some of them were just like, "Are you trying to poison us?" I'm like, "No, no, I promise you, they're still good. They're fine." So, but yeah, that was kind of a fun little thing that we ended up doing. So, but yeah, Bill Murray. Oh, well, that is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, wherever it is you listen to the show. You can find us at epicallygeeky.com, where you can find the rest of the shows that we do, including Marginally Geeky, Creatively Geeky, and Sustainably Geeky. You can find us on social media on Facebook and Twitter. I'm sorry, Facebook and Instagram at Epically Geeky. Where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram, and
That's it.
No, somebody keeps fucking around with Wikipedia, and if I find the guy, I'm gonna. Oh my god! Anyway.
Kris?
On Instagram at Moody.
Sean?
Your favorite broken toy, spelled the Canadian way on Instagram. And yeah, looking for that asshole that keeps changing Wikipedia. But if you're going to use Wikipedia as your source of information solely, you're an idiot.
It's true.
Don't trust one thing. And then you can find my epic, wacky meeting Bill Murray adventure on Facebook and Instagram at Optimus Gene. For everyone on the site, have a good night.